cutoff for top 8 is set at 21 points, so let's see if they can make something happen.
We are moving into Miramar yet again, as that is going to be the rest of our day, which always makes me happy. I love Miramar games. We're going to have to kind of get a feel for it. Circle's going to be coming in just a bit, but the plane path is going to be far more comfortable coming in from the north.
Yeah.
West, just straight down and through.
Everything available.
Ending in Puerto again, though, so maybe we'll get my favorite circles again.
You might just. It's at least aiming that direction. We'll see. Last game pretty much gave us no commotion other than the circle itself, so I would be surprised to see any actual fights take place in the early game on this one. That being said, different plane paths allow for teams to go to new places. We might just see a bit of overlap because of that.
We do also, I have to bring it up because it's just a me thing, there is a world where we do get Trailer Park in the circle too. And I don't know why. Trailer Park, Oasis, they're always just fun for me, but Oasis not so hard.
And if we're going to get Trailer Park, it has to be now because it's going to be removed real soon. So that Trailer Park endings will become Elkan Tower endings.
In America, I managed to get one Trailer Park game in. And yes, guys, I did grow up in a trailer park. Judge me, but I got to get back to my roots every once in a while.
You're the one that brought it up. I wasn't going to say anything.
Bro, I grew up redneck as can be.
Yeah, I can. I don't know where to go with that sentence. Well, we talked about hot drop potentials. We did see Luminosity and Falcons land side by side here in the previous games. Nothing really came off of it. But of course, again, different plane path can cause some issues. But seems to me like they've already kind of drawn the line in the city of who gets to go where.
Falcons did make it into the later stages of that game. It could be kind of interesting to keep an eye on them moving forward, as they're not doing so well on the overall leaderboard. But no surprise, I was kind of feeling this way the circle was going to go. Hey, remember FaZe and Gen G fighting over here a while ago? Well, we're going to get more of that early pickups, and it's Heyman getting a pistol, whereas Gustav's got himself a rifle to work with, and that's going to be a far more efficient to start this off.
Well, we buff the M16, and there it comes. Shows up, and it's been put to use. 2 kills quickly as can be, as EJ and Taman fall down. And Gen G, I mean,
it's good to see in the top 5 for a second.
I do not mind them dropping here. The only thing that's odd to me is that PO has all of Porto Paraíso. DG98 dropped on the north side compound for a vehicle. So if you know that you have a solo player landing with you, why not commit them all? Why not go out with 4, kill the guy, and then leave?
This is actually kind of pivotal inside of the circle. You can see that Snakers is playing more to the south of Leonis. Falcons did also drop here as well. So the pathing for the Falcons is probably just going to be moving back into that hillside yet again. But if they do end up having to hop in vehicles and maybe wrap further down into the south, that little bit of a shift could be big.
But what does that have to do with Gen G committing to the fight against FaZe?
Well, it's more about Snakers playing right next to Falcons and Lucian.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. It's just
usually we see that much more separated out. So having one of the members commit down just a bit lower, as the Expendables are going to also find themselves a Tai Lu member to start off the day.
It's so interesting how we see a circle that could not really be any further on the edge pop, and the game actually playing out pretty calmly. And then you just automatically think, well, because the last game made sense, this next one that gives us not exactly the same circle, but very similar in direction, should do too, especially now that the plane path was even better, and yet now we see some of these people standing on each other's feet.
And I will also say, I talked about it last time, I'm not the biggest island circle guy, but there's a higher likelihood of it happening inside of this one.
I wasn't going to say anything, Matcham, and now you jinxed it away from going there.
Oh darn, the person that doesn't like island circles jinxed it. I'm so sad.
Well, let's get a listen in to Uber and hear what Na'Vi has to say about their most recent performances. Anh sai
bình thường vì bọn em đã biết trước là bọn mình sẽ vào đường giành thắng. Bọn em thì vẫn giữ lối bắn của bọn em thôi. Gặp thì bọn em vẫn bắn nhau thôi. Nếu mà góc đẹp thì bọn em có thể làm được hết tất cả các tuyển thủ. Em nghĩ là bọn em đoàn kết với lại là nhắc nhở nhau từng tí, nên là bọn em không ngại giao tranh với tất cả đội tuyển khác. Mục tiêu của bọn em trước tiên là vào được chung kết. Còn vào được chung kết thì bọn em sẽ cố gắng giành lấy chức vô địch.
I'm not gonna lie, I saw Uber this morning. That is not what I thought he was gonna look like. So for Haisagi, of course, that was my mistake. Sorry, everyone out there. Great interview to listen in to Cerberus. Without a doubt, the strongest team out of APAC. They're phenomenal. They've shown the world now on numerous occasions that no matter who goes to them for a fight, they better think twice about making it, because 9 out of 10 times, Cerberus comes out on top.
Our centering for our teams is still staying pretty strong, as 17 Gaming looks like they're trying to make a path just north of Los Leones to regroup. We do have ourselves FaZe, who's made a bit of a shift over there, sending one person in a parachute, and Gustav to kind of scout out closer to Impala, as the circle does have a bit more of an Impala leaning than that southern area that we were talking about last time.
This is so interesting, and it's happening while we're seeing Sonics rotate forward. For those of you guys who follow FaZe Clan, who follow the EMEA scene, what FaZe just did with sending a player in towards the center up to one of those unplayable mountains, that player has always, and I say always, it's not like the emergency pickups have been here for that long, but for every single time we've seen it done, it's been James that did that. But because of the change of IGL on the team, now James is the one that pulls, like, that makes the moves and makes the decisions on the team. Now Gustav is the flex player that they send up there, and I talked to Gustav coming into this winner's bracket. He says he really actually likes now being kind of taking over James's role in flexing off to the side, allowing for teams to play more on the side of Fex in up-close fights. Gustav really likes being that off-angle player. We've seen him clutch so many games in that particular spot, so seeing him on the mountain this early on now could bode for a good chance of FaZe, who already now is playing much better than their initial playstyle was with the beginning of this lineup.
You can see the fact that Falcons also got themselves kind of close to Gen.G's PO. Remember that PO and DG, the last two members up, they are centered, but they're at the crossroad position, and this is not necessarily the scariest of places to defend whenever you're looking at it as a solo if you're wanting to play from. You get a lot of information, people coming in, you can take pot shots at them for a little while. And technically, Silzen being over here provides some level of support to make it feel like there's more players on your team here rather than the fact that it's two different teams.
Yeah. Well, question mark trying to make their way on in. There's still a pretty long journey ahead of themselves as they come in far up on the northern side. But again, question mark arguably, if not Gen.G, then question mark the latest team to get to these circles, especially in the earlier stages of the game. So they're not in a hurry whatsoever. Neither are Third and 5, who in the previous game did not opt to go for an emergency pickup, but maybe we'll see this time around.
They got themselves some pathing, and no harm to actually just hold on to it just in case.
Of course.
Specifically, as we're eyeing different locations that shall not be named, that might not be the worst all considered. Third on 5 really being one of our tail end teams. Sonics you can see coming in on the edge. Petrichor Road, DK being our outliers, trying to find some type of pathing. But again, with the way that we see most of our teams leaning into Impala and that southwestern area between Impala and Los Leones, there's tons of space free on the edge of this one. So really just a couple of shots exchanged, just saying, hey, I'm over here, you just stay playing more into the north. Kia, you're taking these shots, but it looks like Petrichor Road, they kind of might be eyeing this too. They're just going to go ahead and retreat this.
They're leaving, but I saw Summer. I think Minuta thought that he saw the last vehicle move forward, and I saw Summer up high. Good thing for them is Summer wasn't quite over that top ridge line yet, so he didn't have an angle to shoot, but now he's out. Now they're going to continue moving, and just like that, the tide's turn as Zenith is taken down by Ixleft.
That's just information being fed over by Summer, like you were talking about. Just well done, pick up a free kill, and now it's going to be Kia having to go more northernly, while Petrichor Road has a path down to Los Leones, and there's not even anybody in Los Leones, so they're pretty much free from here out.
All is good. The only team down in and around that area is Danoa, who are looking to go somewhere east of the city proper. We'll see what they opt to do here with D+ as they rotate towards the Circle 2.
And Cerberus is running a 2-2 split that's kind of separated out. They've got Thanaton that's going to be on one side of them. But on the opposing side, it's going to be Na'Vi, but Na'Vi running their own split. Another team that's pretty close to them is, remember our boy Gustav we were talking about a second ago. FaZe running a 1-2-1 split just and down the entirety of this coastline.
Cerberus here has no clue the Third and 5 has pushed up because they've made this entire run on up on foot. But here comes Tycon running up to check if everything is safe, and we can safely say that it is. And good thing for him is that he gets to get away from that one. Rossited missing crucial shots. They would have really wanted to take Tycon down because sure they are 3, but they're up against 2 of the heaviest hitters, 2 of the warmest players right now on all of the server in Tycon and Himas.
Looks like Tycon is just going to try to retreat back. Hamas is going to try to provide some support. The other members not moving too aggressively for Cerberus, pretty much having some type of faith, but it's going to be long-range shots that are going to be coming out from Na'Vi on the backside of this. Make it more complicated for Cerberus, as the retreat does have a couple of pathings that they can make from, but even Hamas is going, now, this is just too hot, this is too risky. I've got to leave you behind. It's just going to be Duckmai providing some support to Tycon, but you can see there's, what, T5 one side, and then while, yes, it is range, it is Na'Vi at range.
It
it's
is
not comfy.
such an awkward angle to try and take a fight. And the thing, Tycon felt pretty good with the amount of suppressing fire he was getting from Dogmai and Haisaki, but once you see those tags coming, wait, it ain't you guys shooting my direction, and he starts taking damage, that's a clear call for them to back off.
Help could be coming for Cerberus, as we do also have question mark that's pathing in back behind T5 that could take some shots in him and slow down what they were trying to do. So Tycon not terribly off yet. As you can see, T5 is regrouping. New circle, we're just kind of waiting for it to pop, as Petrichor Road did make their push down to Los Siones. No big surprises. Where are we going?
Yeah. I mean, we could center on the small island.
Maybe.
Damn it, we just never get it, do we? We just never get it. We're waiting for the grand finals.
This is
you know
more
what,
fun
game?
anyway.
This is fair.
I like this way more.
We are effectively giving people a phase 3 and a phase 2 with the amount of water in play, and us taking for granted that no one is going to go out on the islands.
So now we have a death funnel that's starting to build up as everybody is starting to smush into this one. We've got 17 Gaming that's on top of TE. It's going to be making the pathing to where we just saw Gen.G and Falcons just a moment ago. Dana was going to be back behind them. All this is going to be going on. Tai Lu's going to be trying to defend down those shots that we were talking about just a moment ago coming out from the Gen.G boys. Remember, still 2 up, trying to defend out, while all of this is going to be coming in. 17 Gaming is going to go for the crash into it, and a quick push. Can Gen.G defend?
Yep, it's all on Gen.G's DG98 to fend off here. A lot of damage is coming in from the side as Gene is able to do damage on one. Finds Xiaowei. Sushu falls down as well. As the standoff works, at least for now. Little Ghost is still alive. Xiaowu is too. Can they do anything against these two players and all of the players outside trying to deny their entry to the gas station?
It is just like the post-game. All the players crept up inside the bathroom trying to stack up on top of each other, as the rest of Gen.G getting more and more control of this one. Pio still playing around the outside, not letting Little Ghost in. But you can see this is just an awkward stack for 2, waiting, being patient, waiting to see if they step out. All while Falcons are taking referee shots in, denying 17 pathing.
As this pull-up came through, Sonic sent it through the sky up to Gustav. They took him down as well, and that is now more pressure being kind of alleviated for 17 Gaming. They're starting to realize this. Wait, we're not getting shot from behind. Now is the time to push.
Gen.G is playing this so well, using every piece of cover and denying angles. Look at the way Pio is bouncing around. This is exactly why they opted into playing this. This is it. Hit and run tactics coming up from Pio is exactly they wanted to play it. Also, the way that these angles come out, it really denies a lot of the sight lines for the nades. And you can see 17 just not finding successes. This entrenched Gen.G duo is just putting up a hell of a fight.
Exactly, got to be so smart about how they move around here, because as you can see, Falcons on the other side shooting towards them. And now Sonics are starting to look down in this direction too. Xiaowu with 2 nades still to work with. That one could have a target on it, and indeed it does. DG98 down.
Finally gets the bounce into it. They shift over the nades the opposite direction. Going to Brave back in. Pio's got vision, goes for the shots, gets the knock at 1, but finally, Gen.G goes down. They made it hellacious, but it is going to be 17 that finds it, while Sonics making a play into the hillside. Could see or hear this, but I think that they're just going to stop up. Petrichor Road also spotting out what's happening.
Yeah, Petrichor Road, the teams kind of closed in on this one. They heard all the commotion, but they also saw the final kill come through. Had they been just a half second early on this one, they might just have put the pedal to the metal on it, but the kill came through fast enough for them to back off.
And this is what we're talking about. Look at Sonics harassing down into that fight just a moment ago. They have a vision for days. If we see this go Impala, this hillside is just so strong. Now, if it shifts away, it could be pretty problematic to get down from, though.
Exactly. As things quiet down, at least for a brief moment, let's see how Petrichor, with very limited info to go off of, up to rotate into this. Now, this is what I was talking about just before. Sonics came flying in, and they couldn't have timed it any better, because while Gustav was fully occupied looking down towards the 17 fight, Sonics came in right above him, 4 people landing on top of him, took him out, and there was nothing he could do. Now see, where, oh where, Mr. Circle, are you going?
With this, we've already lost a pretty decent chunk of our players for an early section. The unsurprising shift, to say the least, as it is going to be leaning into Impala. Most of the players hoping the fact that it goes more into the hills to the east, or maybe even down to the south. If it stays on Impala, that's not even the worst, but makes for some very protracted fighting. Impala itself is just very complex with how close those buildings are.
Yeah, and with the unplayable mountains where Sonics currently find themselves, and phase 4 coming up, you'd have to imagine this one is going to go down towards the southwest side where Petrichor is currently set up. Maybe, just maybe, it could swing direct west towards Tai Lu, but the biggest chances are down towards Petrichor, which is also part of the reason why I think they opted to commit to that angle.
It's kind of the problem with this hillside is it's so kind of centered. It's not do-up centered, but it's kind of hard to dodge out in most regards. So see a couple of players and teams already kind of leaning into Impala, realizing, okay, the south, not as open as we want. In addition to this giant hillside, let's not forget there is still water in this, and there is the Impala Fields. That's a no man's land. So this is a much, much smaller circle than it actually looks like due to the fact that the playable areas that you actually want to be taking something from are just so, no, you just don't want to go there.
There are no. We can agree on that. See LG here playing it smart on the edge, just waiting this one out, wanting to make sure that they have not forgotten about anyone behind us. I feel like most of the games where you felt, oh, this might just be the Luminosity game, something has happened, not necessarily out of their control, but something where had they spent just 10 more seconds looking for an angle, looking for a player coming up behind him, they could have stayed alive. And now, well, they're taking their time, they're playing this one smart.
Well, we're seeing that LG is still committed into their more edge playstyle with and a meta that's shifted a lot more center, right? Danawa kind of opting into a similar one just to the north of them, as we can see here, is a 3-1. Loki off by himself.
I mean, it makes sense that this is where they commit to sit on the edge because, again, as we said, Impala Mountain is going to be shifted away from, the north side mountain is going to be shifted away from. There's a small chance it could go direct west, but most likely we're looking at a straight south-southwest shift.
We've been talking a lot about Sonics and the way that they're kind of set up on that hillside. You can see 3 members. Tickleton, though, is actually down in Impala in one of the primary strong positions to play from. If this does shift into the west and goes fields, that is a strong defendable line and capabilities of getting a lot of kills from that.
Sonics then still have to get off the mountain, though.
That's true. I'm not arguing that. I'm not
gonna
arguing.
be easy.
I just think it's a peculiar choice to actually go, okay, Tig, we trust you to be on the ground by yourself. The 3 of us are going to harass from up on top. I know a lot of people have... I mean, there's a reason why Tig is so expensive in fantasy, right? He's got some aim, and they say, yeah, we could put you up here, but we think that your merit is actually in the low ground, securing that for us.
Yeah, he's the player who's got the compound locked down. And you talk about Loki before in the 3-1 split that Dano has currently got going. He's shooting in the crowd, just making sure in case any snakes are there, that they should rattle and show themselves before things get too crazy. The Loki, the man of the hour, the one who's been claiming what few points Dano has been able to find. And now we'll see if he's going to get the better of this circle, as Anonix is sitting up with a mortar next door, and this is exactly where we expected this circle to go.
And so our Impala friends not feeling the most comfortable. T5 also going to have to be making a move of their own. Cerberus going to shift in. We can see 17 in that firefight that they had to take a while ago with Gen G, feeling pretty good about it. But I want to remind everybody, Petrichor is kind of in a dip, and this is going to be what's going to happen, right? Look at everybody that's inside of Impala. We've got Navi, we've got Sonics, we've got TE, we've got QM, we've got Daytrade trying to get out. This is going to get very, very bloody.
It sure is. You can see Daytrade tried to get out of the city, tried to wrap around, but not going to happen. Norrens wanted to wrap further around, I think, to get over to Push Hills, but couldn't quite make it there. Now, Daytrade down to just Bilmoth and Flash, and maybe only even for a short while, as we see Cerberus in the kill feed pop off against Third on 5. Daytrade instantly after it moved, and just like that, 8 players out in a split second.
That was what we're going to be seeing going on with Impala. Now QM goes, hey, I've got an idea. It's a very similar idea to what just happened to Daytrade. This is going to be what's going on with that Cerberus fight, and this is going to provide some pathing down on the opposite slope from that hillside that Sonic's playing from. Give a block in sight line, but it's going to be Kia, the new targets that are going to be in front of them, as neither one inside the circle.
Yeah, D+, they have had the pleasure of sitting around and waiting it out for a while, but Deva and Menuda will have to make a move soon. They heard the shots fired from Cerberus towards that northeast, but they also know that they have Sonics on the mountain, so it's very limited where they can run around in the open right now, especially with Sonics still up high.
Are they going to commit into the Tai Lu path? That's not going to be too comfy to work with, but even Tig still capable of taking shots at him from here. This is the reason why they sent him down here. Look at the vision that this compound provides. If this had gone north, great, but even with it going south, he gets to take pot shots on every single one of these teams' attacks.
I mean, right now 755 ain't with the rest of his teammates, and Tai Lu has already lost one. So if Question Mark goes up to aggress towards the Tai Lu compound, it might not be the worst idea now, though. We talked about D+ just before, and how they would have to either stand their ground or back off. They tried to back off, and luckily for Deva, well, he fell in transition.
QM still trying to see if they can brave into this Tai Lu line, as it's not too comfy. Navi, I like this. Ish,
where are you playing?
Everything, throw out nades, distract the team, force them to get some type of meds out.
Oh wait, it's phase 4. Never mind, they can't go anywhere. Elliot, shotgun in hand.
Now getting the vision in, but look right on the opposing side of it is what's going to be nerve-wracking on it. Nades on both sides. Oh, I didn't even see him walking over. Now does, though, and just going to be patient with that shotgun.
That should be an easy one. Nice setup there. Xamer right around the corner. playing a bit of a surprise role. I love the fact that Elliot did as much as he could to attract the attention while Example was literally just sat still. They will have him knocked on. Oh, Example had a nade cooked in hand, so he's going to fall to it now. Question mark again. This fight was going to happen eventually, but they read it smartly. They saw that 755 was a lone issue, as 755 was packing a punch.
And here comes Shin on the backside of this one, full on flank around in position. 755 did a great job on surviving, opens up the angles. Shin stepping in means the fact that QM finds themselves pinched, and Shin walks straight up into this. That duo just erases question mark and leaves behind an exclamation point.
Question mark made the perfect read. It's a 2-1 split. Let's aggress on it, but 755 stood strong, takes down 3. That is going to be question mark out, and now Na'Vi, back we go. They find Delvin, but instantly after, Strimsy finds 1. Sonic's still playing a massive factor in this city fight, as they have not come off the hill just yet.
With this, we still have Impala being the problem of problems. Sonics, you were saying, how do you even get down there? Well, Navi's just pushing through. The shotgun blast isn't going to connect the way he wanted it to, so TE still looking up that hillside into what's going on with Sonics, as this is now opened up, as CE also wraps down next to DK. And yeah, Americano, this isn't too comfy.
No, Cerberus knows that they have to make a play here. They want to clear off this angle before moving further forward. Sonic still have yet to make their way off the hill, and now Danawa with the comfort of the compound, and the mortar's still there, doing what they can to deny Tyloo any sort of entry, or escape, I should say, from the dip they currently find themselves in.
This could be a factor moving further forward. Cerberus playing this one slow and steady. Blue Zone not quite going as far as they wanted it to, but Isaki's got to kind of retreated back as they're committed into the res. No big commitments quite yet, but Nuna's doing just a good job of being a thorn in the side, while FaZe taking all of this time to reposition and is just going to pounce on whoever walks out of it.
And again, it's a small thing, but it's the first time we really see them play more. Like usually, we would see teams be much more in a hurry to get towards the circle, but all these players are running around with the jammer packs. They have that extra couple of seconds to fight on the edge of blue, but now FaZe, well aware that Cerberus are crossing on foot. They have to set up for this. They have to prepare for the push from the top APAC team.
I like the cook nades going out long range into it, just a smidgen short on the Moss. Not going to really connect into it. While you were talking about how hard it is to get out of the Sonic's position, they've lost several members. Everybody can see it. Team is trying to line in, shots going in onto the vehicle, but it's going to be a quick exchange between both. Cerberus now sneaking in right on top of this as FaZe move to the wall, allowing Cerberus just to shift up right next to him.
Absolutely huge play from Cerberus, using the gutter on the right-hand side for as long as they can. They know that FaZe has pushed down towards the river side or the ocean side to make a play there, but they went all the way around, and now somehow they've gotten full control. In the meantime, now Dano trying to stand off against Tyloo. It's through falls. Make that 3. Make that all of them. As they go down, Tyloo down. Danara prevails.
Tyloo weakened by mortars before coming into this one. Falcons also taking some shots into him as they go. Our Impala crews also limping their way out of this, as Tig is going to spot out Duck Juice and finish that out, as he's now also going to make a pathing into it. FaZe still continuing into this fight. It's just going to be Corexi and Fex left, and you can see Fex not feeling too good as Hisaki wants to step out more. Does he know? I'm pretty sure he does. Yeah, how's the nade going to bounce into that one? And yeah, that was just well done.
This is good. I mean, he couldn't commit to the flush there because he didn't know how close the opposing teams, or the opposing players were, and him as around the other side knew, wait, he's not going for a first hit, and I hit him quite a lot, so just lob a nade on over, and he should be good.
Again, this was just so well read by Cerberus, like you were talking about, to shift in. The circle is going to favor this position, so Corexi not going to be in the biggest rush for it, but hey, you know, take some kills, and all right, Corexi, go and get you back. Is he going to be able to get Fex? He should be fine with that.
Team said it in the interview. We have Fex, he reached the kill feed. We have Gustav and we IGL, and then we have Corexi. Well, he kills people, and that is exactly what he did right there. Solid play coming through from the young Finn to keep sure that FaZe stays alive, and with the circle shifting in their direction, what is the top 7 right now could easily become a top 3.
I want to point out, while all of this was going on, Petrichor Road, who played in the opposite dip away from 17 Gaming earlier, has been having to kind of hunker down with all the long-range shots. That's allowed LG to get more control over the south, and you can see that they're starting to influence that. Now taking shots into Danawa, trying to deny out this rotation. Danawa's going to opt into probably a very southern shift inside of this rotation. I mean, they can maybe cut straight in, but that's going to put them at Petrichor. If they go to the south, it's going to be LG. There's no real good pathing for this, as they're just going to jump forward. They haven't even managed to make it to the safe zone yet, as they're still already going to have to deal with Petrichor.
There really isn't a good play for them to make it also. I like the fact that they go just a little bit further down. Maybe the commotion of teams trying to shoot at them can force other teams to shoot at the teams shooting at them. But unluckily for them, all the teams are backing off, playing it safe, even though Danawa tried to bait the attention.
I also like the Petrichor Road had their vehicles prepped up in advance for the shifts coming into that line.
Oh, yeah.
See the way that their vehicles are set, that really denies out a lot of what's going to be going on. Danawa is just kind of trapped out here as until they get a kill of some type and can make some push, there's nothing they can really just do out here. Snakers, though, full back flank back behind Danawa, and you can see this is why they can't move, man.
Yeah,
it's just throwables now coming out from everywhere as the vehicle's just getting shredded.
Double kill coming through as that car explodes. You'd have to imagine. Nope, Loki just exactly able to crawl far enough away. That's a blue zone nade, and that should be him down in just a moment as the entire field turns blue. The double stack comes through. You could only imagine, yep, that's Loki down. Just one more left alive on the side of Danawa as Soul is trying to creep his way towards the circle, but look at the amount of opponents in front of him. Finds kickstart, though.
Never, ever count out Soul. He's got to creep forward. The Venn diagram of blue zone just absolutely demolishing him. But while this is going on, Falcons putting in some work onto Petrichor Road, opening up some type of possibilities for Soul to exploit as Falcons making that shift in. Soul's got a couple options to work with. Petrichor Road just kind of eyeing into everything that's happening with Falcons.
Everyone on the server fighting in the northwest, and now even FaZe is starting to realize, wait, we want a part of this too. You can't just be the only ones fighting, because every single team is fighting over the same 50 meters.
Who wants the compounds when you got buildings and dips? And that's what everybody is after right now. 17 Gaming crossing the road, making the push into the firefight with the Falcons. It is becoming unrelenting. At least LG is now distracted and get too involved in this. It's its own fight. Everybody making their way down into this trench. 17 playing the top side of it. Has got to be careful, though. Soul could pop up at any given moment, and he does right now. Goes for the spray, but he is going to be going down with Emmys on one side of it. Soul still playing back behind.
Yeah, Little Ghost trying to slow things down at least for a bit. They've only just now crossed the street. They've only just now figured out exactly what's going on the other side, and they're seeing players all over the place. Finds one, Xiaobei instantly swings on the second. He hears DraftKings wrap around the side, but doesn't have the exact angle on him. He loses him for a brief moment. Let's see if they can find him, and just like that, Little Ghost holds the angle, and 17 gets to live with 3 up.
Now we've got to pop down to the other side of this with LG. It's going to be Fex still trying to hold out Soul. No, wait, we're not done here. Soul's got some goals of his own, realizing he has the opportunity. Little Ghost, the only one up, committed into the res right now, but I mean, this is just well navigated by Solo in a desperate situation.
You cannot fault Soul for having no clue where the opponents are right now. They are everywhere. The good thing for Little Ghost is that he knows exactly where to expect Soul from. It does seem the fire from the burned out car is just enough cover for Soul to wrap back the other direction. Now Snakers finds Fex, but FaZe already down to few players, so it's just Corexi left alive against the entirety of Luminosity.
They are just cresting the hillside. No worries, but Corexi is on fire right now. Makes it hazardous. It's going to be very, very close. Flood needs to go for something. While this is happening, 17 Gaming still too far away, cannot get anything out of this. That hill's going to block out the sight lines.
They're sprinting. They know that it's a 4-man Luminosity on the other side, but as you're saying, too far away to get impact. But as I say that, it's the solo and it's the duo. They're taking the fight to the 4-man team.
He's got some goals and he is just charging, and he knows that they're weak and he's paying attention. Danawa trying to make the worst of, or the best of a terrible situation, moves in. It's been so long.
He's just doing it alone.
He's coming in off this. If he
don't shoot him.
Don't shoot him. He's trying to help you.
17. What are you doing? Wow, the help coming over the top as Xiao Wu now trying to flank down below. Do they see him? Do they realize that they are getting outflanked? It's a 2 versus 4. The odds are against them, but if Xiao Wu finds a double, it could be huge, and Flood falls instantly.
That spray control right off the go is just so vicious. Little Ghost one side, Xiao Wu in the other one. That is just going to be terrifying to contend with. Little Ghost now making his way up into the high ground. It's going to be on Snakers to try to defend it. It looks like he knows he's playing inside of the bush, but while that's happening, Xiao Wu starting to play this more aggressively. Little Ghost taking the shots in, gets another knock, gets another one. 17 Gaming doesn't care about numbers. They care about how much damage they can put out.
They are just unstoppable on this one every single time they peek. Oh no, they find players, and Xiao Wu does it again. They do not know of Kickstar's position, but they don't care. 2 versus 4, and 17 push Luminosity in the grave.
That is how you charge into a weakened squad. Solo stepping in, duo stepping in, numbers advantage only matters if you can get a second to make it work. And yeah, LG not feeling good about that one, as the entirety of the focus of the circle just went directly after them.
17 Gaming were sprinting when the initial 2 knocks came through. They couldn't make it, but Soul said, boys, worry not, I've got you. Distracts for long enough, finds a knock on 1 to allow for them to wrap on over. They had the high ground, they had the low ground. They were playing whack-a-mole effectively against Luminosity, and they tore them to pieces.